Yeah. Is this going to be working, Doc? Doc, do I do anything to make this work?
Well, first you have to start the presentation.
And then it'll do it. Well, the music starts with it, so I don't want to start it until I actually start. Do you have to do anything? Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's just the left. It's like
Okay.
PTR, the left, right, back
Okay.
and forth.
But I don't have to like sync it or anything, right?
No, the
Okay.
only thing is, you might push your computer back just a hair, because what it's looking for is your eye thingy,
Okay.
the infrared. Oh, sorry.
Oh, whoops.
Oh God, it's all my fault.
Oh no. We got it. I got it. Do 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 do. Go. It's actually not the PowerPoint that's the problem. All right. So I did a Les Paul, who, if you don't know him, basically the best way to explain it is if you've ever listened to any music that's been played or recorded in the last 50 years and enjoyed it, you owe it to this guy. He was a guitarist who invented multi-track recording and overdubbing, which is the foundation for how we record music today. And then he also invented the solid body electric guitar, which is pretty much what everybody plays these days. And countless other things. It's impossible to list everything that he contributed. But first, he started off as a guitarist. His first instrument was the harmonica, which he picked up by himself at age 8. And then between that time and when he was 13, he picked up a ton of other instruments, one of which was the guitar. And that's what he mainly played on. At age 13, he started playing out at different places. And then age 17, he dropped out of school to pursue music professionally, and he went on to a very distinguished career. He's very well known for his inventions, but he actually was a very, very accomplished guitarist in his own right. He won dozens of Grammys. He's in the Grammy Hall of Fame. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which he has like a permanent installation exhibit there, which I think there's only like 2 other people who have that. So he's a very accomplished guitarist in his own right. But what he is known for is inventing. And but it's good to start with the guitarist part because he didn't invent just for the sake of inventing. He invented because he was a guitarist and he wanted to get these sounds that he heard into his head out there. So everything that he invented was for the sake of the music that he played. But the things that came out of that were extraordinary. Like I said, he invented the solid body electric guitar and multi-track recording, which I'll go into in more depth later. But then he invented a lot of guitar effects, overdubbing, and tons of other stuff. And he actually tinkered in his garage until he died. There's a documentary about him, and he's giving a tour through his house, and he just has all of this stuff laying around. And he's like, oh yeah, that was the first tape recorder ever. And it's just like laying in this pile with a bunch of other stuff. But he really loved to do that, and he was very curious, and he never really settled for the technology that was available to him. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the electric guitar. Before Paul made this invention, they had electric guitars, but they were hollow on the inside. And what he didn't like about that is that the wood in the guitar, since it was hollow, it would resonate with the amplified sound that was going along with it. So that can cause feedback, you know, the screeching in the speakers. And then it's also not a very precise tone. So what he did is right here, this is the first prototype that he made. It's basically a 4x4 chunk of wood that he put pickups on, and then these little sides he just kind of attached for the looks of it. But what it did is that since it was a solid body there, the wood resonated in itself, so it created a more sustained tone, and it solved a lot of his feedback problems. And he brought it to Gibson, who basically laughed him out. They said it looked like a broomstick with a guitar neck on it. But 10 years later, they came back to him and they created the Les Paul model, which is ubiquitous across all types of music these days. So you'll see a couple pictures of the modern one later. But yeah, and then multi-track recording. It's when you, instead of recording a band all together, you record like the drums, then you record the bass, then you record the guitar, and build the track like that. And he invented it in his garage on these solid discs that, well, now after, he would later use tape for it, but he first used these solid discs. And what's interesting about that is that now, if you do a take and you mess up, you can erase it. But back then, he couldn't do that. If he did a take and he messed up, he was stuck with that. And the first song he did had about 8 guitar tracks on it. So by the time he got a take that he was satisfied with, he'd use like 500 of those discs. But eventually he would improve on that, and it laid the groundwork for how we record music today. And here, there's a clip of him explaining that on TV.
Maybe they've got time to tell us how you really make the record. Starting at A and moving slowly on to B. Seriously, on the level.
You turn the tape machines on.
And this is one of the tape ones that he eventually made.
Regular Ampex tape machine. And we play the first part on the guitar. This is the rhythm part.
Now you put your earphones on and you play another part to it. Is that right?
That's right. Got it?
I get the idea now of the background.
That's the background. That's the background.
You play all this to Mary, is that right? Or does she do it separately?
Well, Mary will hear the part that's already made, and she sings onto it.
I see.
First
I'll make the first part first.
Okay. What's that, Mary?
Give me a G, please. Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. Now I'll add a tenor part to that.
Right. You're on.
Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon.
All right, that's the end of the clip. But yeah, you can turn the lights back on. That's them. They actually had rumors floating around. Nobody knew how they did what they did. So this is them going on TV to dispel those rumors. But anyway, Les Paul died actually a few months ago on August 12th, and he was 94. And he actually played weekly up the street at the Iridium Jazz Club, which is on 51st and Broadway. And he played it up until he was hospitalized. And he would be up there. There's videos of him playing, and he's just like rocking it up there. But yeah, he'll go down as one of the most influential musicians in the 20th century. And it's very true that without him, music as we know it would not exist. So, and then I have a final clip summing up his legacy.
The players, the great musicians, the people that we revere in our industry, they know every time they pick up an electric guitar why we have electric guitars. They know every time they sit down in a studio at a mixing board why that board exists. The average casual music consumer may not have the appreciation or the reverence for a guy like Les and what he brought to our world, but I can assure you that the people in this industry don't go through a day of their life in this business without being touched by something that Les Paul did, said, played, or invented.
Without the things that you have done, I couldn't do half the things that I can do now.
Well, forget your marriage.
No, wait a minute. No. Hey, we wouldn't be able to make records like we do if you didn't invent multi-track recording.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks.